I met Dr. John recently at the orthodontic office, having been a lifelong patient of Dr. Beaver's. When I moved back from Dallas, which just was several months ago, I went back in for a checkup and to get a new retainer. And I found the time that I spent in Dallas and how I was so shocked by the teeth issue that I started talking to the girls in the office, having known them forever. And everybody is so friendly. It was easy to tell the story. Dr. John and I had a chance to connect, and he mentioned that he'd heard my story and he had a heart of the same as mine, and a concern for people and their teeth and the impact on their life. Understand that it's not just jobs, it's family impact, it's self-esteem impact, it's future impact. It drives so much of where you could go with your life is if you have a smile and you're comfortable with your smile and have a nice smile. My name is Carmen Spencer. I'm a lifelong resident of Gratiot County. Recently, due to some business changes at the place where I worked, I was afforded the opportunity to really rethink, what am I doing with my life? What do I want to do with my life? How can I make sure that at the end of the day, something that I've done is significant to the world? Bought a house and I moved down to Dallas, Texas. Got a job, fortunately, right in downtown Dallas. In one of the tallest buildings on the 37th floor was my office, and I overlooked the city. It was beautiful. There were lots and lots of homeless people. And I, of course, discovered the usual. There's drugs and alcohol issues for many people. There's behavioral and mental health issues for a lot of people. But there are also a lot of people who just need that hand up. They just have come against a brick wall and they can't seem to just make that step forward. As a good example, I met a man named Anthony, and he just sat down and started talking with me. And he expressed how discouraged he was about having any opportunity. He told me, he said, I think I'll probably die on the streets. Because quite frankly, homeless people are very rough amongst each other. They steal from each other. The shelters, you'll wake up without your shoes. So I kind of tried to expand on that. What are your skills? Where do you come from? Why is this hopelessness? And he said that he had spent 10 years as a contractor building buildings, and in the last 10 years in the service industry working in restaurants. I could see that. He was very sociable and very easy to talk to. I thought he'd be great. But then I said, so what is your roadblock? Why? Why don't you go interview? There's restaurants everywhere. And he said, I do. And then he kind of pointed to his mouth and he said, I have no teeth. And he said every time he would go to the dentist with a tooth that was rotting, they would happily pull it. This free service, that's great. But he said every tooth that was pulled, he felt his chances of getting off the street going away. And he said, why? Because when he goes and interviews now for a restaurant, he says, I have no teeth and my mouth is puckered in. And that's not who they want for a server. That's not who you want as your face to the public in a restaurant. And he said, so I can't get a job because I have no teeth. He said, ruined his self-esteem, ruined his hopes and his dreams, and prevents him from getting a job in a very populated area with many, many, many opportunities. Anthony's life would have been totally different if he had a great smile. I'm confident in that. He seemed educated. He had good work experience, good history. That's one of the things he emphasized to me is I'm a skilled person. I am a smart, able-bodied person living in the streets and sleeping behind dumpsters in Dallas, Texas. Because he says, I've interviewed, he said, I can't even tell you how many times. I fill out applications, I go to the library, I read, I write. I'm able. I cannot get past the first interview because my work skills are centered towards serving people in public eye and a public view. And because of that, he said, I don't get a job. I don't get a job, so I'm here, I'm on the streets, and I don't know that I'll ever get a job. I'll keep trying, but without teeth, I feel hopeless. I feel worthless and I feel hopeless. So while I was talking to people and getting the feel for the situation of the homelessness in Dallas and the issues that they're facing, we talked about drugs, alcohol, we talked about family, mental health issues. But across the board, I would say 90% of them all had one issue in common, and that was their teeth. They were either missing teeth, had rotten teeth, or missing some of their teeth or their front teeth, or it was almost across the board. Almost everyone I met had that issue. And I would have to say, I would consider it to me, it's at a crisis level. And the lack of them having nice teeth and being able to smile is a very big roadblock to being successful and to moving forward with their life. I was very encouraged by Dr. John to find out that he has a heart for the community and a true devotion to not just being a dentist and taking care of teeth, but a care for people, their futures. I would give everybody one piece of advice. Don't wait until later. I think that's always a temptation. Teeth problems become one problem and another problem and another problem until you get to the point where somebody might look at you and say, I have to pull your teeth. My advice is take care of your teeth right away. Don't wait. Start down that path today. You'll never regret it.